Thank you very much. Am I on here? Thank you very much for being here. We appreciate the support you guys give us all year long and just growing our sport and helping our LSU softball brand. We really appreciate you guys being here and supporting us today. 2016 was a season we were really proud of. Finished third back-to-back seasons at the College World Series for the first time in program history. LSU softball won its 1,000th game. We played the sixth toughest strength of schedule in the country, and it's the fifth time in 5 years that we've been in the top 7. We finished the regular season winning 12 of our last 13 games. We were in the SEC tournament final. We played in a wonderful atmosphere in James Madison, and we were able to take it to the wire and come away with a victory there. And we had 2 All-Americans last year, Bianca Bell and Savannah Jayde. Bianca Bell, as she finishes her career, set a lot of career records. I'm sure those are ready to be broken this year by our next, but finishes a very decorated career. Her, along with the 4 other seniors, will be definitely missed by this year's group, as 3 of those guys played in virtually every game of their entire career. But they will be replaced in 2017 or attempted to be replaced by 7 very dynamic freshmen. That is one of the best recruiting classes that we've had in my time here at LSU, so we are excited about them. I will get to them in just a minute. We also had a solid pitching staff last year that ranked in the top of the nation, including Sydney Smith, who had the lowest ERA for a freshman in the country. She was 7th in the country in ERA. We had a 97% season ticket renewal. We played in front of over 75,000 fans last year at Tiger Park, so it was truly a record-setting and just a season we can really be proud of in 2016. In 2017, we all have high hopes. Of course, our team talks about returning to the College World Series and this time making it a couple games further. So that's something that's talked about very often at our practices and on a daily basis. We returned 15 players from 2016's roster, and like I said before, we add 7 very dynamic freshmen to this group. We played 9 nationally televised games, and another 23 games will be on the SEC network at home. So television has truly changed our game and is just really making our sport so much better and just continuing to grow our sport. It's also changed the workload of the coaching staff a little bit, but it's something that we enjoy, and it brings a totally different dynamic for us to prepare for the season and for our opponents. We're scheduled to play 16 NCAA region teams from last year. And we have some really great events happening at Tiger Park. Of course, we'll have our Teal game, which will be April 1st. We have some other fun events scheduled at Tiger Park. I think our team this year will be a little bit different than how we've been in the past. I think we'll still have a pretty well-rounded offense. Of course, we still have our solid power lineup, Savannah Jayde. We're going to add Sydney Springfield, Amanda Doyle to that group. But I think this is one of the fastest teams that we've had in my time here, adding some super speed to our lineup, including already having Griggs and Landry in the lineup. We add a bunch more speed in this freshman class. So I think you'll see us trying to create some things offensively, trying to have a little bit different look, but hopefully you're going to still get the same successful output. And then we're combining that with solid defense, and of course we return a really solid pitching staff. Carley Hoover, Allie Wall, Jasper, Sydney Smith, those guys will keep us in every ball game. And we add to that a freshman, Mary Beth Gorsuch from Dallas, Texas, who was highly recruited, and I expect to do a great job for us as well. So I think this year's team has a lot to offer. I think they're going to be exciting. I think they're going to be a lot of fun. There's a ton of youth. I think, we will have some learning to do early in the season, but I hope as we get into SEC play and deep into the season, this team is ready to compete at the highest level. I think that's all I have. If you guys have questions for me, feel free.
Raise your hand, guys, and we'll get a mic to you.
Hey, Coach, as you return this team, you guys have been to the College World Series. People can talk about doing what it takes to win, but how important is it that you have so many girls on this team that actually have been there and know what it takes and can relay that to some of the younger girls?
I think it's really important, and we've talked a lot about that with our upperclassmen and trying to teach our freshmen and our young players our identity and who we are. And I think, it's tough to understand actually the effort and the grind that it takes to go to the College World Series and what it actually encompasses. But we are so fortunate. We have a strong group of leaders. We have a strong group of upperclassmen. We actually have a strong junior class that doesn't know anything other than finishing their season at the College World Series, which is so cool. So, I think these guys understand what it takes. They understand what it takes to get there. They know it's a lot of work, and a couple of breaks have to go your way, a little bit of luck, but I think they understand what it takes to get there, and hopefully they understand what it takes to win a few more games.
Beth, talked about this before, but with your team being so as young as it is, with 7 freshmen, do you kind of lean on a veteran pitching staff kind of in the beginning of the season as you kind of get in your groove offensively?
Yeah, without question, I think our pitching staff is going to have to, carry a lot of the load early for us. And I think they're set up to do that, though. They're so talented. So I think, like I said, we'll be hitting on all cylinders as we get into SEC play and deeper in the season. But, our pitching staff is so talented, they should keep us in every game the entire way. Our freshmen are really talented. I expect to see them all in some capacity here this first weekend. So I think, they're going to just have a lot to learn, and we'll count on Savannah and Bailey and Emily and those guys Constance to just continue teaching them and molding them and, growing them so that they're ready to go when it really counts.
Coach, what do you think last year's team learned from the fact that they don't start the year in Oklahoma City and they have to grind through it, and there were some struggles? I know playing an SEC team every weekend is like playing a College World Series team oftentimes, but what do you think they learned from the struggles during the year before they made it to Oklahoma City?
Yeah, the stretch last season where we played, virtually 15 games against the top 12 in the country was just, a grind for them mentally. So I think we've really tried to put a big emphasis in our mental training this year, tried to really kind of overdo that or put a lot of weight and time, even practice time, put into just having a really tough mentality, having them understand how they have to be able to fail and bounce back and just go through adversity. And I think that's really a big reason why we were so successful at the end of the year, that they truly understood how to go through adversity. So there was no situation that was too big for us.
Beth, you also mentioned that you think that there could be more slappers in the lineup this year. Has that kind of played out, in early, scrimmages and practice so far?
I think they're all really talented. I think there's a lot of things that will get worked out here in the first month of the season. I think a lot of people are going to get opportunities, and it will be what they earn from that. That's going to be my message to the team, honestly, this week, is that you're going to get opportunities, and you need to make the most of them. But I don't think it would be out of the question to see 4 or 5 at some point. I mean, they're all capable. I don't know that we start that way here in game 1, but they're all really talented, and I wouldn't be completely shocked if that happened.
With so many of those young players on this team, how important is the tournament play going to be early in the year to kind of define some of those roles before conference play rolls around?
We definitely need that time. We need this February. We need all these games. We play a ton of games in February, but we need them to really get ready. And like I said, I think you're going to see a lot of faces this first opening weekend. There's going to be a lot of girls that get opportunities, and they're not just us giving opportunities, they're earned. We have a really deep team and a lot of players that deserve some playing time and some opportunities. So I think you're going to see a lot of faces. You're going to get to know them well. And then, it may be something where we're able to match up people based on pitching throughout the season. We have a lot of options and a lot of depth. So I think they're really talented. I'm excited to see what they're going to do.
Beth, your coaching staff, so dynamic. They always have a new message each year for the players. Can you share it for 2017?
Well, our message, of course, on all of our posters and everything we're doing is all gold. So, a lot of championships have been won at LSU and the team's wearing gold. So we want to be all gold this year, and a lot of the stuff you're going to see is all about the color gold. And then our internal message is about made, and it's really just the concept that no one is just born into the College World Series. It's something we have to make ourselves into every year. So what type of team were they going to make themselves into this year was our challenge to them. Who will they be made to be, especially with a new dynamic, kind of a big turnover, losing 5 and bringing in 7. How will this team really turn into their own personality and be their own 2017 LSU Tigers?
Coach, can you do us a favor and talk a little bit about the SEC schedule and just about the teams in the SEC? What do you expect from a conference that produces multiple Women's College World Series teams every year?
1 to 13, we're just so strong in the SEC, and honestly, every time we take the field, it's taken the field against a super regional caliber opponent. And I think that's, part of why we've had some success in the super regionals, that and, having a deep pitching staff too. But I think, just being prepared to play these 3-game series day in and day out and playing against the best of the best is truly something that has paid off and paid dividends for us in the postseason. So we're excited about the SEC slate. I know we open up with the College World Series runner-up at Auburn. I'm sure that'll be a tough place to play. Going to Alabama is always a tough place to play. And then, we host some great ones here at Tiger Park as well. So it will be a tough season, but it's always a tough season in the SEC.
Beth, over here, you talked about how you got a younger team, and you may be, fooling around with the lineup early. But how important is a player like Savannah Jayde who can play multiple positions early for you guys early on?
Yeah, there's no words for Savannah Jayde and what she does for this team and this program. She's just so talented. It feels like you could stand her at any position on the field, and she would look like the best one out there at every position. She's so athletic. So it's fun. I've moved her around every single year. This year you will see her more behind the plate than she has been in the past. So you'll see her a lot there, and at third base is where she's worked. I've tried to rein her in and not make her practice at 4 or 5 different spots, but she's just a great leader for us. When she's on the field, we're better, not just because she's a great player, but because of her, what she says to us, how she leads us, how she speaks, what she does for us. She's very calming, very comforting. She gives us confidence, so she does so much for us. I think that entire group, her, Bailey Landry, Constance Quinn, Lena Sava, those guys are just really solid as human beings and just really solid for us. Take softball out of it, and they're great leaders for us and do a great job for us.
Coach, you were talking about the 7 freshmen. You think they're all going to play. How does that motivate the veterans to get better and so they don't lose their spot?
Yeah, I think it's, a lot of competition early here, and we've had some people that have done some things to help themselves. Shamaya Sanchez moved from second to third base. I think you'll see a lot of her there. She's doing a great job for us at third base. I think they've seen some of that coming and have found ways to challenge themselves and continue competing. And, Tiger Park is rarely empty nowadays. They're out there working on their own. They're putting in the time. They're really trying to push themselves to be the best they can. Because there is a ton of competition, and it's good for us. If we can handle our own team out there competing, I think we'll be able to handle just about anybody in the country.
If I could ask a follow-up, you mentioned 97% season ticket renewal. What have the back-to-back World Series in 3 out of 5 years? Obviously, Yvette did a fantastic job, but what has your recent success done as far as you've noticed fan interest in the area, people that want to be part of Tiger Park?
Yeah, I think a lot of people like what we're doing, and they like obviously us competing at the highest level, but they like so many of the traditions that were put in place by Coach Gerard and those that came before me of season ticket delivery and the meet and greet and a lot of the things that we do as part of this program. I think, we really make people feel like it's a family atmosphere at Tiger Park, and I think none of that has changed. I think, of course, our success on the field is fun. It's fun to watch, but I think a lot of the traditions that have been in place for a long time here at LSU still continue to be a lot of the fan favorites.
I thought there was a pretty big jump for Hoover between year 1 and year 2 in this program. She looked really sharp last year, 20-plus wins. Can you talk about what to expect out of her and also Walt Jasper?
Yeah, I can tell you Carley Hoover's in the best shape I've ever seen her in. She's put in so much time. She's worked really hard. She's had a great off season. She's, just done so much to make herself ready for this year. I think she's poised to just have her best year yet. I think she does so many great things for us, too. We've talked a lot about Savannah and Bailey, but those guys, the junior class, too, Allie and Carley, are great leaders for us. They're great competitors for us. I think they just do a great job, and Carley has put in a ton of time, and she deserves a great season, honestly, for how hard she's worked. And then, both Allie and Sydney are just calm, cool, collected. Every time they take the mound, they just go out and compete. They're, not going to be huge fist pumpers, although we did get to see the Allie Wall Jasper fist pump at the end of the James Madison Regional, one of my favorite moments. But, they just go out and they do their job. They keep us in every ball game, throw a lot of ground balls, keep people off balance, and you can't ask for a whole lot more from those guys. They, do such a great job. I feel very confident they will keep us in every ball game all year long, 56 times.
How cool is it for you as a coach to have a player who's in position to break some school records like Savannah is with home runs and RBIs?
Well, since we've gotten here with Howard and Lindsay taking over this offense, I think we've been in a position to break offensive records from day one. I think they've done such a great job. They're so talented. They understand the game. They're the best of the best. So I think they've put us in that spot year in, year out. This year we add Melissa Brown, who's our new volunteer coach from Tennessee, who's worked a lot with our slappers. I think she has really helped to grow them and been able to spend a lot of time with them. So we're excited about the addition of that. But, I feel like those guys have put us in that spot every year. So, we've been there before, and I think Savannah's been breaking records since the day she walked on campus, too. She has just done it the entire way. Sometimes I don't even know that she has broken a record. She has broken so many. So, I think that I have no doubt she will continue to write her name all over the history book, and I will enjoy watching every bit of it.
Is there a position on the field right now you feel like is still up for battle at this point in the season, or is it all of them except for the returners at the position?
I think there's a lot of positions that are still, being competed for, and I think there's a lot of depth at some positions. I think Amber Surratt is so solid at shortstop. I think that's a no-brainer. I think you'll see her out there on day 1 and day 56 and day 131. She's special, and she's just our absolute rock solid leader too. She just, what you're getting from her every single day. So she does a great job for us. And then, I think there's some spots in the lineup that are pretty solid at this point. Griggs and Landry, Savannah, I think all of those guys have done a great job and have a ton of experience. So, I think there's some there, but I think there's a lot of competition at the corners. There's a lot of competition in left field. I think a lot of these freshmen are doing some big things. Amanda Doyle and Sydney Springfield are back and forth every day, it feels like, at first base. They're doing such a great job. They both are really talented. They swing for a ton of power, both of them. And, it's fun watching them compete, too. They both came in very highly recruited, and Amanda Doyle just made the junior national team. We're really proud of that for her. She's a special player, and I think you're going to see a lot of that name around this program for 4 years. But there's a ton of competition over there as well. So I think, like I said, you're going to see a lot of different looks from us early. And I think that's fun. The outfielders, Claire Weinberger, Aaliyah Andrews, those guys fly. Nikki Dawson is as fast as any kid we've ever had in the program. She'll play some second base. So there's a ton of freshmen that are just making this big push all over the field. And then you couple that with our solid returners. It's a great problem for a coach to have.
Coach, this past summer, obviously, there was the flooding hit this Baton Rouge, and your team was out there helping in the recovery and the cleanup efforts. Does that give you and your players more motivation for this year, seeing what happened, seeing what the people that live in this city went through? Does that give more emphasis, I guess, on the season and just things that are going on outside of the world?
Yeah, that was a really proud moment for me as a coach, just to be dealt with such a terrible situation and see our team's response. I think our staff helped in 14 or 15 houses, and we had players, freshmen that had never attended, or attended a practice for LSU softball, but they were out in this community. Some from, California or all over the place, but they're out in this Baton Rouge community just giving back to people that they've never met, that they don't know anything about. So, that was a really proud moment for me as a coach. And I think, they seeing that and going through that and watching these people. And I've personally never experienced something like taking someone's belongings and putting them out to the road. I think that's changed me for life. I'm sure it's changed them. And I know that they always want to play for this community. They love their fans. They love the Tiger fans. It's a big motivator for them on a daily basis. And I think this year just adds on to that.